Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are doing another Dark Souls-ifying kids villain. So if you haven't seen this series before, basically what I do is I take a villain from like a classic cartoon or maybe a classic video game, and I convert them into a more intense, like creepy villain. So I usually do it based off of like the Dark Souls and other Souls games franchise. So today I thought it'd be very fitting if we did one from Elden Ring. With this new game coming out, I have been loving seeing all the cool different creature designs and boss designs, and there's so much inspiration in this game to pull from. So I thought it'd be really fitting to do the next villain in more of an Elden Ring style. And for those who are wondering which villain we are doing, you probably already saw it in the title, but either way, we are drawing Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as an Elden Ring boss. I was really excited for this one. Shredder's been on my list for a while, but when Elden Ring came out and I saw how many cool, like, armored knight characters there are, I was like, that's gonna be dope to convert that and, like, combine it with Shredder's look. So this is the villain we're gonna go with today, and I'm gonna do some preliminary sketches so we can like maybe brainstorm how to convert him into a much more epic and intimidating Elden Ring boss, but I think this is gonna turn out super cool. Okay, I'm ready to start the sketch phase. I got a couple of Elden Ring knights pulled up on this other screen, and then I got my Shredder reference pictures, so let's go ahead and try to figure this out. So I'm gonna keep this very loose and basic so I can try to get maybe more of a silhouette figured out for our Shredder character. So at least what I'm thinking for these initial sketches is we're gonna have like really cool armor pieces, a really cool helmet, and then I really want to over accentuate his Shredder gauntlet. So I'm gonna just draw in kind of a base figure to go off of, and then we'll kind of build some armor around that. Okay, so I have a very basic figure right here. So let's go ahead and start kind of brainstorming what we wanna do with his overall look. So for sure, my first thought is we could probably make his like Shredder gauntlets like even more intimidating. So I'm thinking about maybe on his left hand, we keep it to kind of similar to how it is, but we'll like elongate it a bit. So then it's kind of like a little bit more intimidating and crazy. Like I think it'd be really cool if it was like really long claws. But on this arm, I'm trying to think how we could make it really weird and kind of grotesque in a way. So maybe instead for this one, we could have it kind of almost fused with his arm and make it like really intensely long. So maybe instead of having like the two, I guess, Wolverine-ish claws, it could be more of like his actual hand is this longer claw. I think that would be pretty cool. So we'd have one really long, gnarly hand, and maybe we could make this arm like extra long. I'm thinking maybe this form could be like his second round of battle, because a lot of the Souls villains that I've seen, they have like their first form, which you fight to like low health, and then they unleash this like second form. So I think it'd be kind of cool if this was kind of like his second really gnarly, crazy form of like, kind of like I think it's like Red Rot or like maybe some other aspect integrated with his character. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on like which weird thing maybe could have fused with him to make this happen. Because at least this initially makes me think of those weird creepy hand monsters. But yeah, I think it'd be really cool if we had like his main, like his actual hand be like a crazy claw. So now we have to think about, at least for his armor, how we can convert that to more of a Souls armor. Because I know they have both Knight's armor and Samurai armor, so we could get away with kind of having a fusion of it. I know that he's more like ninja samurai combo, or lots of different inspirations have gone into his costume overall. So maybe we can just kind of pull from all of those and combine them together. So at least my initial thought is maybe he'd have like the pauldrons, kind of like he has. They go to a point, and then we'd replicate how this design has the plating underneath and do more of the samurai multi-layer plating. And then I think we could still stick with his like really cool normal gauntlets, but I kind of want to beef up the size of them. Like I'm kind of seeing him as a little bit more, I guess, brawny than kind of the original. Like, well, I mean, they're both kind of buff, but I feel like I'm trying to combine these two references and make him like even more brawny. So maybe having this larger bracer with the spikes on it would give him like a bigger forearm intimidation look. I'm gonna bring over his old school cape too, because I really like the idea of having a cool cape. And I think a lot of the knights in this game do have like more of capes and other cool flowy things to go with them. And then for his helmet, I do really like how this first referent looks with like his face being covered. But I think I want to combine it with more of a, I forgot the name of the masks, but the samurai masks that have more of like the cool mouth with like teeth and like some hair. I kind of want to add that in a little bit just to give it even more creepiness, I guess. And then I'm thinking I'm going to replicate the 3-prong horn look of this first reference combined with like the helmet of both in a way, but I really want to over exaggerate them. So I've seen a couple of Elden Ring knights that have some really cool big horns on their helmets. So I think something like this would be really dope. I'm going back and forth on if I like the teeth on the mask. I didn't really like the way I had it there for a minute, but I'll play around with that maybe in the final render. I can't tell if I like it more with like the creepy aspect of maybe no mouth, but we'll play around with it. Or even the mask could be like open. That would be even better. Like in our final render, just imagine like the mask being open and then it's just like blackness underneath. I think that might be pretty cool too. All right, I'll keep that in mind. And I think for the main body armor, I'm gonna push it more towards like a cool chest plate, maybe with some samurai plating. Yeah, maybe something like that. So it has kind of more of a chest plate feel to the top, but then it kind of does that segmentation of samurai armor at the bottom. And then I think I'm gonna kind of mimic the look of this armor as well and have that point, and then the side armor for the thighs as well. And I think for his greaves and for his feet, I think I'll make the knees look similar to the clan symbol on his belt that I also have on his chest. I think it'd be nice to duplicate that. And then I think for the foot armor, we'll kind of do a combo of, I like the idea of like clawed tabby shoes, but also combined with armored knight wear. So I think they'd have like the toes, but then have the armor padding. I think that would look really cool. I've seen a lot of cool like bug-like characters as well in the game, so I feel this also feels like kind of Beetle-ish. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. So I'm liking where this sketch is going. I think I'll do a much more intimidating pose, maybe getting his like big claw ready to strike or something. But now I think I'm gonna jump in and do like the final pose and figure out how we want to lay him out, like with color and just the overall final look. I think I'll add a couple more details as I go along and as I sketch, and I just kind of feel it out and see how it goes. But let's go ahead and jump in and start the final render of this character. Well, time to start the final pose on our Elden Ring Shredder, and I totally forgot to hit record, so that's why you're kind of seeing a little bit of the body in the beginning already. I just completely forgot to hit record when I was doing like the torso and other early anatomy parts of the sketch, and I ended up picking this pose both because I thought it looked really epic and cool, and then I wanted that left hand to be kind of turned upwards to have that like shredder claw type of thing, and then having the right arm totally out and exposed, showing these big long crazy like shredder fingers. I was like wanting to basically be able to highlight the whole outfit, show off the cool giant hand, show off the cool gauntlets, and just overall be able to highlight everything I design about this character. So after getting the anatomy figured out, it was time to convert my little mini sketch into a more detailed armor set, and I had a blast doing this. I finally got to test out that unhinged jaw look for the mask, and I think it just worked perfectly. And then I got to slowly build up and add more and more like armor pieces. It was really fun basically seeing this completely come together and adding in those extra details that I didn't get to do in the mini sketch. For example, that samurai plating armor that's hanging off the right arm, I thought it'd be really cool if it looked like it was like falling apart and was kind of being broken from the transformation of his bigger arm. And then I wanted to add in even more like little details to the armoring, and then I got to build out like the foot details, and just all the details just were so cool to see come together. And then I made his arm extra terrifying. I think I did do this in the little mini sketch as well, but I don't know what it is with Elden Ring, but I guess they have a slight fascination with the finger hand things. I think it's like the goddess's fingers. I'm not super in on all the lore. I've been watching some people do playthroughs, but I think it was like the 2 fingers, if I remember correctly. So then, of course, this entire game has a ton of weird hands. So I thought it'd be really fitting to do like the giant arm with all these little fingers and maybe chunks of metal coming out of it. I thought that'd be really cool and just add another extra creepy element to this character. So after finishing sketching the initial concept, I just jumped right into line art. And I think this is probably one of my favorite parts of the process with any drawing. I do really like color because you get to see the final render come together. But I don't know. I've just always been a sucker for line art. You get to add all of your final like larger details, but then I like going in and adding like little scrape ups to the armor or imperfections here and there within the character design. I don't know why. I just really love the line art process. It's just so, I guess, soothing for me. And then just being able to add all those fun little lines and details, I just really enjoy doing. And then I was just so happy overall with how this turned out. I was really digging the pose. I tried to go outside my comfort zone in terms of, like, the previous ones I still did kind of like an action-y, not really action, but previous ones I did do poses that had movement, but they still feel very stagnant when I've looked back at them. But this one, I really tried to push like the overlapping of certain parts of the anatomy and like kind of lunging into that leg. I just really wanted to highlight the whole outfit, but also push like the feeling and the movement behind him, I guess. It's very hard for me to explain. As you can tell, I'm failing at my voiceover today. And yeah, I think this was a very awesome design. I would love to see it at like a Comic-Con. Like, can you imagine this cosplayer walking around? How creepy that would be. Like, I think the one thing that I would want to see the most out of any of this, and like something that I'd want like actually made and made real, is that mask. Like, how cool would it be to have like a 3D printed bust of like his shoulders up and then having that cool jaw unhinged, and that'd be so dope. Now I just want a collectible figure of this. You know, maybe I could hit up Elden Ring or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know which IP would want it first. But I'm like, hey, can we make this cool, like, creepy ninja samurai dude? Let's do it. But yeah, I'm so happy to be back into doing these, like, creepy Dark Soul-y character designs. It's been a little while. I have no clue when the last one was. It's just been kind of a weird couple of months on YouTube, just kind of figuring out timing of stuff, what I want to do, and I was like, let's revisit the Creepifying Kids Villains series, because I have a blast with these every time. They're just so fun to do, and it's really cool to just take an existing character, try to keep aspects and like identifying features as like accurate as possible, but also being able to edit them and change them into like a new genre. Like, I loved my King K. Rool one. I love this one. I'm really happy with how these are going. So from here, I took this piece to a coffee shop and I finished it off on my iPad because I just kind of wanted to get out of my office for a bit. And so that's why you're seeing a little bit of a different aspect ratio. But from here, it was time to just get stuck in, do all of my highlights and shadows, and really have this piece come together in the end. All right, guys, we are all done with our Elden Ringified Shredder, and I really think he turned out super kick-ass. I had a blast really creepifying this character and adding a lot of fun details that I haven't really done before in a character, so let me walk you through them. So first off, I think one of my favorite details is the unhinged jaw look. I was trying to mimic those like samurai masks that sometimes just go either across the face or around the chin area, and I thought it just looked so cool if it was just kind of hanging there, but you just can't see if there's a face or if it's just kind of a void behind it. I thought that'd be so cool and perfectly creepy. And then I do really like how this weird arm turned out. I was going back and forth on if I wanted to make it more primarily like metal to match his like shredder claws, but I kind of like the weird in between of like skin and metal. It just feels like something creepy and weird that like the Elden Ring or the Souls games would do. And then I really enjoyed designing the armor. It was really cool to have like a mix of like my own take on it and adding some different cool details that I kind of thought up. And then taking some of the design bits from the original character. It just was really fun to kind of combine the two. So yeah, I had a blast with this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any other characters that you would like to see me like creepify or bossify, I would love you to let me know down in the comments below. It can be from like retro shows, maybe more modern shows, games, whatever you can think of. I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. But either way, thank you guys again so much for stopping by and checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you aren't already, I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button, join our little community, and I can't wait to make another one of these in the future. But either way, thanks again guys so much for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everybody.